Yeah. Um,
And he's like,
you can tell that
honestly,
Teddy is kind of.
you're good. You go.
No. What were you saying? You cut out for me.
I was just gonna say, just like, I mean, you chose this. I'm assuming you don't look like you've grew up like me and Wish did.
Yeah.
And this is
Uh,
happening while I'm assuming you guys are like looking for people, like
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Benny.
While they're talking, Benny's gonna go ahead and try and we're still, where are we?
You're in the police station.
Okay,
You're in the police station in the main
that's what I
hallway.
thought. Okay.
As you were walking up, this was the conversation was happening as you were walking up towards that glass window that I mentioned with the speaker behind it.
Mm.
And there's nobody there. And kind of like as they were talking, while they're talking, you kind of walk up to that and you can hear there's like a news report going on, but you don't hear anything else.
Okay. Yeah, Benny's gonna try and read a bad situation.
All right, why don't you go ahead and make that roll, Maddie? What were you saying?
Oh yeah. Teddy was like, well, yeah, I chose to do this. I had nothing else to do. And then they're like, so how do you know? How do you know Wish and Addie?
Well, we went to summer camp together.
And I'm like, oh, the summer camp.
Yeah, I'm sure we would have told you about that.
Yeah, and he
Yeah,
gives you summer camp.
I'm like, that's crazy. I'm like,
Addie, he kind of gives you like a like a laugh with that, like Addie. Yeah, Addie.
What a
A
loser.
lot less vocal.
yeah, he was pretty quiet for a while, and then I
think I
kind
almost
of
saw him
got
smile.
Yeah, you could tell that Teddy doesn't really know that much about like Atticus, like past information, kind of like how like him like not smiling that much and him not being that vocal and stuff like that.
Yeah, and he says like, yeah, don't get me wrong, Atticus was always an assertive person, but I don't know, he just seems happier, I guess. It's good to see.
Yeah. Teddy's like, well, that's good.
And he
Wow.
kind of like breathes a breath in, and he's like, yeah, I'd say it's good for the kid.
Yeah. So sorry. So Teddy is like, so I've never heard the guys ever talk about you. Were you like friends, or was it like quote unquote strictly business?
And he says, I mean, we're friends as much as you're friends with people you go to school with. I'd like to think that maybe we bonded a little bit. But, I mean, you spend a summer with someone, you don't forget it.
Yeah, whenever you said like, oh, we're like friends as much as you're friends with people you went to school with, fucking Teddy just looks at you just like, oh, that's how they think about you.
Lucas was popular. Lucas was popular. So to him, everybody at school was friends.
Of course.
Yeah.
Fucking nerd.
So yeah, and you kind of get that vibe off of him, of that like, even if people weren't his friend, he probably didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and as you do that,
Yeah.
Jared, would you like to ask your question?
Yes, I would. So, I have one. And I'm going to ask... I'm going to ask, what's my best way in?
Front door.
You notice that the You're looking through the glass. You look through the. When you look at the grass, you see a tiny sliver of light coming through a doorway that's like maybe 5 or 10 feet behind the glass. You look down your right and you can see another door that probably leads back there.
Okay. Benny just kind of looks at them and says, give me 1 second. As he kind of goes and pushes the door open.
Oh yeah, Teddy is just not paying attention to you. They're
Yes.
trying to interrogate as best as they can Lucas with
And Lucas
not knowing
doesn't
how
even realize that you're interrogating him. He's just talking.
Yeah, well, it doesn't help that Teddy's bad at it too.
No, I think it's great. Like you can actually get information out of him because it's like, okay, yeah, sure. You just think you're making small talk.
Jeez.
Yeah. So you say that, and he notices what you say, and he says, you don't see anybody back there? Is that on the bell? You know, ding ding, service.
And I'm like, how about we just walk in the back, like break into the cops' place?
Just looks at you like, you like, all right.
And
He looks back at you, Benny, like, please say something else.
what do I see when I open the door?
Do you go down the hall as they're kind of like
Yes.
they're going to catch up with you? You go down the hall, and as you open the door, it looks like it's another room. It looks like it's like some sort of waiting room, and then you can see the door across the room from you leads into that room. You can hear the news report coming from it, but you don't see anybody in here.
Gotcha. He's gonna go ahead and go back and kind of pop a head back into the main room. He's like, psst. Hey.
What?
Yeah, and Lucas kind of like, Lucas did that thing where he looked to you, but you were gone, and then he sees you down there, and he's like, "Oh, all right."
This door was unlocked. Let's go.
Oh yeah, come on.
Yeah, and Lucas sees you run past him, and he shrugs, and he's like, "I guess it's technically not breaking and entering." As he like jogs to catch up with you. And as you as you kind of go into the door, yeah, you enter into this kind of waiting room, like break room like area. Yeah, and as you enter, do you go right through?
Yeah.
Or okay, so you just go right through this room.
This isn't a bad
like I
idea.
said, this room has chairs, kind of like lining the wall. It's just like an open room. You can see there's like tables with like magazines on them from like 1992.
Which, excuse me, what?
Yeah, like
Goddamn.
old magazines that have not been renewed. You can see kind of like on the wall behind it are bulletin boards with like community events that are happening that have been pasted over. And kind of like as you turn, you go into the room, and as you do, you can kind of hear the sound of the news report. And it sounds like it says Emmerdale. It's a woman reporting. She's like a brunette woman. She has a pink, kind of like suit on. It looks like a newscaster. And like as you come in, you see her, and she's like, Emmerdale has been having a fantastic season. Despite a few of the local issues, we're setting up to do grand this harvest season. A few of our stores in town are even raving about the crop we're reaping in this time, this year. And she kind of like turns and she goes, well, in less exciting news, you hear you hear her say, Mrs. I gotta make sure I got the names correctly.
I like to think this newscaster is also goofing on the names.
I don't think anybody has a name. Says our librarian, homegrown and raised right here in Emmerdale, passed away this morning.
Ooh.
Succumbed to her
Just-
injuries,
Hmm.
and as she kind of goes on to say, her family's holding a candlelight vigil tomorrow night, and the funeral processions we'll have more information on in the coming days. Investigation is still going into what exactly happened that fateful day. And she looks into the camera and says, "Our little sleepy town of Emmerdale weeps for you. You were different, and you were so special, and you taught so many of our children the delights of reading. You will not be forgotten, Miss Doherty." And then she kind of like turns and she gives a smile immediately, and she says, "Well, the general store downtown," and immediately kind of goes to like a happier story.
So the
Yeah.
puppy store down the street is doing amazing. Go get
Yeah.
a puppy.
This is happening kind of like as you're entering into the room, and it's like there's 3 chairs in the room, kind of like haphazardly in different areas. There's a table in the back. You can see some file cabinets. You can see some lockers on the left side, and there's no lights on, like in the back here, like in this room. It's just the lights from the front hallway. There was like one light on in the room you were in that was kind of lighting up the whole room, and then this one is just the TV that's on.
Creepy.
Good lord. Can I investigate a mystery here?
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
And like as you enter the room, the TV, you can see it kind of shifts and it goes to like static.
12.
Hell
Like
yeah.
the bad bitch I am.
You got some questions?
I got good ass too. So, what happened here? Why is everyone fucking gone?
So based on like your initial looking and kind of like searching around this area, you can see that there's the lights seem to be turned off. They look like they've like actually been turned off, like the switch itself is off. The room, it looks like the chairs, as you kind of look over, one of the chairs is kind of flipped over, like maybe somebody got up quickly.
Okay.
And then as you're kind of like searching around this area, you see like scuff marks on the floor, like shoe scuff marks. And then as you kind of move past the room, the wall, you can see there is a like the marks of a hand smeared in blood.
Oh god. Yeah, I'm looking at everything and I'm like, oh, that seems weird. That seems odd. And then I just see that fucking blood hand. And I'm just like, you guys?
Yeah, and as that's happening, the TV switches from static to almost like a show tuning sound, and it's like da da da, and you hear almost in like old timey radio voice, the guy go, "Mr. Manfred Emmix, healing hour," as a bunch of little lights, not lights, like the showbiz lights go around, and then the name kind of like appears on the TV. As the TV kind of switches to a man, looks like a professor almost, sitting behind a desk, And he has like a board behind him, has like a globe next to him. And it's like a TV show that starts to play.
Jeez.
Yeah. And then Maddie, you say that, yeah.
Okay, so shit.
Sorry, I just gotta make it as creepy as possible.
That's fair.
It
That's
is.
fair.
Oh my god. What is concealed here?
Concealed.
Give me gun.
Give me gun.
Well,
Pussy.
well, kind of actually. I mean, there's lockers. If you search in the lockers, not all of them have locks on them. You find out that most of them are completely empty. There's only 2 or 3. Actually, there's only 3 specifically that are occupied. And the in the locker, only out of the 3, probably only one of them doesn't have a padlock on it. In that locker, there's like shoes, there's someone's clothes, there's like the picture of someone's wife, and you can see like there's a badge in there that says Hicks. It says Lieutenant Hicks. And you see as you if you fucking snoop, which I'm assuming Teddy does.
Oh yeah.
You see that written on the back of his shirt, like on the tag. It says Jonathan, like Johnny. So
Johnny Hicks.
this is Jonathan Hicks. He's a police officer here.
Yeet.
Yeah, there's a badge in here, and there's like a taser probably.
Oh, I take the taser.
Also
gosh.
concealed here, you hear a clinking, not a clinking noise. You hear the sound of, when metal bars, when they slide the metal bar door open, and it's
Okay.
you hear the shing 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 against it.
Yeah.
You hear, and then after a couple of seconds, down the hall, further back in the police station.
Yeah. I fucking grabbed the taser. Yeah, I grabbed the fucking taser. I also grabbed the police badge.
That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can mark down that you have those in your gear.
How
I
much
think a
is
taser does stun damage, if that's a
Alright.
thing in this game.
Dude, think about having that police badge and just quickly flashing it.
Lieutenant Hicks, youngest lieutenant on the force.
I love it.
Yeah, and as they pointed out, Benny,
Yes.
Lucas as well, you both hear that very very muffled sound against the metal against metal, kind of conk noise that's rhythmically happening. And Lucas pulls his gun out.
That's all right.
Yeah, Lucas just pulls his gun out and holds it to his side.
And Benny just reaches into his cargo shorts and pulls out his revolver, and he just goes, "Shh, I'll go check it out."
Yeah, I kind of look over at you, Benny. I'm like, you sure?
Hey, trust me. Cops love me.
Yeah, Teddy nods their head. I'm like, alright, yo, need anything?
So, is this me going off by myself to somewhere or something scary?
Yes, if you're doing that,
Hey!
Lucas would not want to let you go by yourself. You can tell him to stay back, but Lucas was told specifically not to do that.
Uh, Benny is gonna go ahead and try and.
If you can give him a legitimate reason why he doesn't need to come with you.
Suck his dick.
Hey, Mama, could you put this in the fridge and get me a drink? Those bitches didn't give me a drink. Yeah.
I got it.
Okay.
It's the move I took last time.
The movie took last time?
The big entrance.
The big. Just
So
take off your shirt.
when I make a showy entrance into a dangerous situation, roll plus cool. So if that works, could I do the "Don't worry, I'll check it out"? Because it says pick one creature to stop. I don't know if he counts as a creature.
No, I don't think so. This isn't a dangerous situation you're running into. If you
Alright.
going in from this and going into the next thing,
No.
if that's a dangerous situation, then that could be a big entrance.
All right.
Ew.
But right now, the only thing I'm not like trying to fucking harsh your buzz.
No,
but
you're
I'm
good.
just
You're
saying,
good. That
Lucas was told to protect you.
yeah.
So if you could tell him a reason, like, hey, like, they might be threatened if you're with me or something like that. If you can convince him, then he could be like, I mean, sure, dude, you're the guy.
Yeah.
But
Do you want me to manipulate him? I have a.
There we go.
I mean,
Manipulate. I was looking for the move. I just didn't know what it was called.
my
Yeah,
bad. I would have told
manipulate.
you. My bad.
No. I can manipulate. You can help me.
Yes, I will help you out.
And your intent to do this as a player
Is
for
to
spirits, right?
yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
For Benny just thinks that he can handle it better by himself.
Well, Benny also wants to show off a little bit. This is for
yes,
best
I know
friend
exactly
thing.
why.
Yeah.
I know exactly why this is happening. Yeah.
Like
Oof.
my best friend told you to protect me. I don't need protection. I'm gonna prove why my best friend is my best friend.
Hey, I got another advance. Yay!
Okay.
So just no +1. That's fine. This is fine. It's an 8.
That does mean that whatever you're going to get roped in, they're getting roped into.
Yeah, that's fine.
I already have some danger. Don't worry. Thank you, Trevor.
So on a 7 to 9, they do it, but only if you do something for them right now to show that you mean it.
Shoot
yeah. So
yourself
how do you
in the
prove to him
foot.
right now that? And it could be with words. It could be with whatever. Like, how do you prove to him right now that, dude, don't worry, I can handle this.
Oh yeah, I just say like, I show him the gun, and then like as I put my hand up, I'm like, "Don't worry, I've dealt with dangers before. I killed a werewolf."
He does that thing like, shit. All right, and he's like, all right, Benny, I'll give you a chance. Let's see if you're what you crack up to be. He gives you a smile.
Beat, motherfucker.
He's like, I hear anything. Tips the safety off his gun.
Benny's just gonna cock the hammer back and just kind of go up to the door. Is it open or is it like shut?
So where you're going is like a longer hallway that is kind of like bathed in this like sickly white light because it's
Okay.
those old luminescent things. So you're going down a hallway and then it's going to the left, and then you hear that noise coming from down to the left, which leads to an open door,
All right,
which you can see the cells in there.
gotcha. So yeah, as he's getting closer and closer to the sound, he's just gonna start leaning more and more against the wall. And then as he gets to it, he's just gonna jump right in, point his gun. He's like, "Who's there?"
Okay, so we get the shot of you, only of you, not the front of you. Of you going down like dun, 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 with your gun, and then you jump out with like both hands. You do the like wide stance, like this motherfucker.
Yeah.
As you jump in, and then we cut as we get a shot of you pointing at someone,
Oh no.
and we cut real quick to you, Maddie.
Oh, heck yeah. To me, Teddy. Oh no, 'cause I get the bad thing, right?
What?
Oh no!
What?
What? Give it to me, you pussy.
So
Lucas shoots you in the head.
I need
Oh
you to
my-
give me.
Lucas is the bad guy.
I have a question for you.
Yes, get me up.
What is one
Your favorite
thing
color?
that Teddy wants more than anything? Like the innermost, like I've told nobody this desire.
Oh, told nobody this desire?
I really like lolly hentai.
Shut the fuck
Trevor,
up.
this is not your soapbox.
Sorry,
I did not ask you.
say this.
Oh,
Trevor's just looking for a confessional, guys.
yeah.
Father, I have sinned.
Trevor, you know how we always told you this is a safe place? It's really not. Don't
We're coming to your house.
FBI, open up!
Sir, I made sinner dinner one too many times.
Sinner dinner. I hate
I
that.
want you to explain that to me, please, Maddie.
Oh my god. I think
You could, yeah. And if you can't think of that, you can give me a fear or an urge too.
an urge. Whack it. No.
I mean, that could be an urge.
Hey man, isn't that actually an urge? I feel that every day of my life. Okay.
Ask anybody. Ask them, do you masturbate a lot, and see how panicked they get. Because nobody knows what a lot is.
Oh, that's true though.
Do you masturbate a lot? Yes. Well, you do know that the normal human amount is pretty high, so it might not be a lot. No, I masturbate a lot.
It's the confidence. That's how you tell someone's confidence immediately. Is that question.
Yes.
Sorry.
My dick goes raw.
Oh
You
my
know how
god.
many times I've been to the hospital?
Oh
for
my
this shit?
god.
Jesus.
Looks like
Chad,
a
shut
mummy.
up.
It's
Yeah.
gonna hurt. I'm still gonna do it.
The part that's further lubrication.
It's just straight up fucking jerky at that point.
Spank bankrupt, but I'm still going.
Oh my-
Bankrupt. Oh my god.
What?
Oh,
What the fuck did I just hear?
See, I
God, I'm scared. Okay, you guys. Let me fucking play my character.
Oh my god. Wow. Jared wins MVP.
oh
See,
my
I didn't even think it was that funny.
god. Spank
I've never heard that in my life. I'm sorry. That caught me off guard.
Jesus. Okay.
Are
So
you infertile,
Teddy-
sir? No, I'm Spanko. Sorry.
My God.
I declare bankruptcy. Sorry.
I think Teddy's biggest desire is to know and have a relationship with their biological father,
Okay. So,
even though they know their bio dad is a piece of shit.
yeah. So, that sucks. I feel that. I mean, I don't. I've never experienced that. but
Yeah, I was saying, I'm like, your dad's
The
pretty
audience
nice.
will connect.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I dig it. So you want that relationship, even though it's not going to happen, or it's not feasible.
Yeah, or it's it's not healthy for them to even have one.
So you're
type
kind of
thing.
sitting there and you're kind of waiting back, like you're doing that, like you're a little nervous, but you're also excited, kind of in your how you are in these situations.
Oh yeah.
That adrenaline's pumping. Lucas is like sitting there, kind of bored, like checking his gun, popping it open, popping it back. And you hear kind of like while you're sitting there, you hear TV, and you hear kind of like you catch the offhand of what he's saying, and he says, "Well, I understand that some people have issues with their parentage. You, as everybody is a baby child, they want to
A baby
connect
child.
with the one who brought them into this world. And you can't fault anyone for that connection. You can't fault any child for looking up and saying, I want you to love me. Asking for love is, while sometimes can be used as a weapon, from a child we know it is pure. And that is where that feeling comes from, deep inside you. It's from your inner child, just wanting to be loved. I say, take that step.
And
Your
kill your
parent
friend.
couldn't be the parent. So you raised yourself. You parent your parent. It won't go well at first. But you have to confront it if you want a healthy relationship with them. And as you're hearing this, I want you to roll cool.
Okay.
Fucking scream in the background.
That's Benny.
Oh, I got an 8.
8. So mark down that you have hold 2.
Hold 2. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where would I mark that? Just anywhere?
Anywhere on your sheet. Anywhere that you will know to keep track of. Like if you look there, you know that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it'll remind you. Yeah.
I'll put it on my front page.
And as that kind of happens, you realize that you're no longer standing in the hallway and you're in front of the TV. You walked over because you were listening. You were interested.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Yeah, Teddy tries to, break away from it knowing that they're on a mission. And then also glimpsing back to the TV to still, still see if the program is going on.
Yeah, and you kind of hear as it continues, he's just like, I hope that I helped you, caller. I do not claim to be an expert in all things. I am an expert in trying to heal. And he kind of gives a big smile. And he says, now we're going to take a commercial break. After that, we will come back and I will answer more of your lovely calls. And then it cuts to the jingle, Mr. Manfred Immick's Healing Hour. And you get that, you kind of collect yourself as you turn to go back. And as you walk back to the you get to like the threshold of the door and you see Lucas. And when you see him, you feel a chill kind of go up your back.
Okay.
And you know when you have those thoughts that are like, why the fuck did I just think that?
Oh, let's stab him.
You get you feel that as you kind of like look at your weapon and you look at him. And you're like, he's not looking, I could probably kill him.
Oh my god.
Oh my.
And then you're like, what the fuck? And you kind of like look back and it's just like an itch in the back of your head.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
What do you do?
What do I do? I try to like try to snap out of it for a little bit, and I look
You
over at
immediately do.
Lucas.
Yeah.
And
It's not like you're in a trance or anything. It's like you just had like one of those random ass thoughts that just passes by.
Yeah. I guess instead of trying to snap out of it, I try to shake that feeling away.
Yeah.
And I look over to Lucas and I'm like, so how is everything going? Did you hear anything from Benny yet?
Yeah, and Lucas kind of like turns to you and he goes, well, and then we hear Benny.
Hi.
What do you say again, Benny? Why don't you replay for us?
He's gonna jump out in that like stance with both hands on the gun. He's gonna like, who's there?
And you point the gun and you see a man, an older man, maybe in his 60s, kind of bigger. He has white hair, white beard, but it's all kind of like shaved down to not be very thick. His hair is it's almost bald, but more of a shaved head.
Ah.
And you come in, you do that, and he goes, "Whoa! Whoa!" He like falls back. Who are you? and he kind of like leans back on the bench, holding his chest, like
Immediately I start
starts to cough.
Immediately I start looking around for what could have been making that noise.
You see him backing off as he let go. The bars picked up and went slam back against the door, the cell door. Do you imagine putting two and together that he was just banging the cell sitting here?
And he points the gun at the floor. He's like, "Sorry. Are you the sheriff?"
And he's like holding his chest, like. And he like holds his finger up.
Like, give me a moment.
And then you hear, all of you hear, because Lucas immediately turns to run down there, because screaming, and right behind him, I'm assuming. But right when y'all get there, you see a door open in front of you, and a man, tall, kind of skinny guy. He's like a tall, skinny black guy. He has, he's holding a rag around his hand, and it looks like there's blood on the rag.
Oh god.
And he looks at, he kind of looks back at you, Benny, as he runs, and he looks and sees both of you, and he's like, "Oh, what are you all doing back here? Are you back up?"
Yes, we are. What seems to be the problem? As he puts the gun back in his pocket.
Yeah, and he like looks to both y'all, and he has like the full like, he has it. It almost looks like a park ranger outfit because there's like a light green that they wear, and he has like one of those like hats on. Looks like a Mountie kind of looking guy.
Also, Evan, did it work for the experience then?
Yes, you did. You did technically go to a dangerous. Yeah, you went to a dangerous situation. You didn't know it was there.
Okay. With that, I'm gonna take what could go wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Heads up.
Yeah. And
Teddy adds in. They're like, yeah, we were called by Marshall.
Marshall? And he kind of looks. He's like, "You don't look like police officers."
We're undercover, you know. Make civilians feel more safe sometimes. With, you know, everything going on, you know, with the... fuck, I keep forgetting with the sheriff, you know.
And he gives like a slight nod as he does like he looks at Lucas and he's like, "I can believe that." And then he looks at Benny and he's like, "I don't know." And he looks at Teddy and he's like, "They're hiring him young these days." And he kind of like turns and he's like, "Oh, well, sorry, I was just had a mishap in the kitchen, and I was just taking care of this." And he says, "I see you've seen the sheriff. You all right in there, Wendell?" And you hear like a. He's all right. He's all right. He got a smoker's cough.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I should be playing these guys with. I don't know how to do a northern accent, but he should be less of a southern accent. He should be more of a northern accent. But I'm me, so I'm gonna talk like a talk. And he kind of looks. He's like, "Well, why don't we have this discussion back in the break room?" Well, actually, why don't you go into the cell area? I can't let the sheriff out. I'll go ahead. I'll grab us a table and some chairs.
Yeah, Teddy nods. They're like, all right, you need any help, buddy?
And he looks at his hand. He's like, "Probably, actually." And Lucas is like, "I can help you." And Lucas goes to grab chairs, and he's like, "Any help would be appreciated." And we get that. We get the cut to you sitting in like, kind of like almost like a playing card like setup table, sitting in the cells, with a couple of the chairs that were out there, kind of set around, and the sheriff is sitting on the bench with a water, half drinking, just catching his breath. And the deputy says, "Well, I'm Shane, and he kind of says, "I'm Shane Lawson, and this is not Shane Lawson. That's another person." What was his last name? Sorry, so many names. Don't judge me.
It's okay.
You're good. You're good.
Shane Dawson.
I'll do Johnson.
Shane Johnson.
I'm Shane Johnson. I'm the deputy here.
Do you fuck cats?
Oh, he's not Shane Dawson. He's Shane Lawson.
Longson.
No, I didn't even realize it was close to Shane Dawson. I didn't even think about that. I don't even watch that motherfucker.
No one
So
does.
like I'm
dead.
I'm Shane, Deputy Shane or Deputy Johnson, and he points. He's like, it's the sheriff. My dog just farted.
Beautiful.
That's Wendell Lester, and he kind of gives you the nod, like the nod, shake, like takes another drink of the water.
Yeah. I'm like, has he been questioned yet?
And he nods. He's like, yeah, well, it's pretty much what I do while I'm here. There's not really much else going on, so I've been questioning him every day.
Like, do you have any of those interrogation tapes?
And he kind of gives you like a, well, we have paper. I have a couple of logs.
Oh yeah. Teddy's like, oh yeah, yeah, you guys are the off the grid type.
And he shrugs. He's like, yep. I mean, town does it. I didn't mind the old ways anyway. I'll go ahead and grab those files for you. And you see he's finished up wrapping his hand.
Yeah. I look over at Lucas and I do the 2 thumbs up, like, yeah, got it. You know.
Yeah. And yeah, he nods and he's kind of doing the like silent folding his arms, listening.
Yeah.
Yeah. And after a few moments, he comes back with a stack of files, like a couple inches thick. Sets them down. He says, that's all I got. Witnesses. Not that many witnesses, honestly. Surprisingly, in the middle of a library, you'd think. But a few witnesses. I got the victim statement. God rest her soul. I got Wendell here's several statements over the few days. But he kind of shrugs. He's like, if you can make some sense of it, I'd appreciate it, because, I mean, it just doesn't quite make sense. I mean, I'm looking at a murderer right here, but I've known him my whole life, and he's never hurt a fly. I mean, God, you only arrested like one person, Wendell, right? Like, nothing really happens in Emmerdale.
Yeah. Teddy kind of takes the stack of papers and kind of shuffles through them. And they're like, don't worry, I got this. It's kind of what I do professionally.
He's like, oh. Well, I guess it comes with the job. Big city cops, I don't really understand them well. And he kind of does that thing where he's like looking around like, so, you ever kill anybody?
Jesus, guy.
Teddy kind of looks up, and I'm like, yeah, it should come with the territory, right?
And he shakes his head. I mean, I never fired my gun, well, except for training.
I kind of like, you know, a side eye look over to Lucas, like, oh god.
Lucas is just like just giving the nod, like, okay, all right. And he goes, if it wasn't for John, I mean, we wouldn't really have much. And he kind of gives a smile, so he doesn't say. He's like, we got to find a force here.
Yeah. So what do you make of those newcomers here? You know, those hipsters. I heard they've been causing a ruckus lately. with their parties and such.
And he goes, that's the biggest headache I've had the last few forever.
Few forever.
Forever.
Yeah. And he kind of looks up. He's like, I mean, I don't quite see the problem with them. They're like farmers, but weirder. But I get noise calls every week, and I gotta go out there, tell them to come. Yeah, there's food happening. I don't know what's going on there. Sorry, Dee's not doing it. So, and he says, sorry about that. Talking to my mom. He says, I go out there every week, tell them to shut it down. I sit down, have a few talks with them. They're all nice. Honestly, it's just a routine at this point. But he shrugs. Other people don't. Wendell here, he has a different opinion of him, and you see him like he's tried to say something once and he's coughed again,
Oh my god.
and you see his face is starting to de-redden. So he's gonna talk. And he goes, "What's up?"
I killed a man.
You almost gave him a heart attack.
Almost. I didn't. He's just a pussy.
I mean,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
His first name, bro. He's a weirdo. No. He goes, and he points. He's like, Wendell has a different opinion on him, but you know, I let bygones be bygones. I think a peaceful town.
You guys have bygones as well? Dang. It's a worse case than I thought.
Yeah. Yeah. He says, I prefer to just sacrifice a little bit for the peace.
That's fair.
Yeah, so when Teddy's looking over these papers, what information can I get about?
Why don't you investigate?
Thank you.
The basics that you get is that she's like a middle-aged woman. She was just working her regular shift one day. Then Wendell came in, and she was reading to the kids. And he came in, and he was dressed strangely. He didn't have any of his uniform on. He just had pajama bottoms on.
Ooh.
He had a steak knife in his hand.
Jeez. So not even like normal civilian going out clothing.
No, and he kind of shouted and scared the kids. And she kind of looked up to him and asked him what was going on. And then he lifted up the knife and started stabbing her.
Jesus Christ. Just start in front of children.
Jesus, man. Have some
Okay.
decency.
And
He's doing it in the bathroom.
if you want to ask any questions, I'll tell you what else you know too.
Yeah. So I got an 8, so I can only ask one question. I believe. I'm trying to remember if my character gets any extra questions or if that's.
That was
did-
your Apple does that, but you have a
Yeah.
whole other separate thing for the mystery.
Yeah, sorry. There's
No
so many characters now.
Stop licking me, Kira. Stop it.
I mean, can I ask, like, what sort of creature is it?
You know that already.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I wanted to make sure my character knew it.
No worries. Yeah, you know that one already. I gave that one to you at the beginning.
Okay.
This is a rare, unique thing where you're gonna know what the fuck you're hunting first.
What can hurt it?
What can hurt it?
Is that would that be a way of me finding out looking through the case files?
Let me double check.
Oh, Oscar, you get some baby pies.
you already know what can hurt it. You know that it can't, like, you already know that. I'll give you the things that you do know. Like, you already know what can hurt it. It has to be captured.
Okay.
Because it can't be killed.
Okay.
So it's more just doing the ritual to capture it rather than fighting this bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You might need to
Maybe.
weaken it. Yeah, you might need to weaken it to capture it. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe where did it go?
Pokemon rules.
Gotta catch 'em all.
Um.
Because we already know what happened here. What sort of creature is it? What can it do?
Okay. So we're here. You go. Here you go.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
you're good. You're good. You're pouring over like this stuff while they're talking, and while that's happening, you're kind of going through what all the like statements he's had, and he's had several different statements, but all of them amount to the same thing of like, I don't know
Mhm.
why I did this. He said he describes his morning. He got up, went to get breakfast, made his protein shake that he has in the morning, sat down,
Protein shake.
put his food in the microwave, and then went to sit with his protein shake while he watched TV. And the next thing he knew, he was up and he was standing over the bleeding body of the librarian with a bloody knife in his hand.
Okay.
Yeah, and as you're kind of like reading over this, like him saying like what he was doing, he's like several different, like each different time he like tries to recall a new thing. Like they just sit. It seems like they just sit here and try to like figure it out together, like why this happened. And he, one thing the sheriff always says is, like, and you notice it like in each one of his things at the end of it, he's just like, I have to remember the techniques that he taught me. Wendell, like he keeps saying that in the things, and he says in it he mentions what does this mean, and then they talk in the little like transcript of the conversation. It looks like it's not word for word, like, you know, it's a local police station. It's not New York
It's
police.
summarized,
Yeah, and the gist back and forth is that he keeps talking about the Mr. Manfred's tricks that he learned in the healing hour.
Okay. Yeah. Teddy fucking sees that and they're just like, they just fucking belch. No, sorry, they see that and they just fucking calmly closes the case file, and you could just kind of see them cold sweating. And they look over at the other police officer. I forgot his last name, but Shane.
Yeah.
And they're like, and I'm like, can I go speak to the sheriff for a moment?
He just points over. Well, he's right there.
May I? Do you have a private interrogation room?
He points at the cell.
Yeah, Teddy's like, oh, okay. Yeah, they don't
He's
really
like,
give you enough funding, do they?
and he says, I mean, never had a problem with it.
Well, you never had a murderer, did you?
That we did not.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And he says, do you want us to, and he points at the door, like this.
Yes.
We can leave you alone.
Yeah, yes, please. You know.
All right, officers. Some snacks in the break room. Where we can go investigate those. And he kind of gets up, and Lucas looks at you, and looks at Benny like, "Are we going?" And letting Teddy do this themselves, or are we staying? What's the plan? Lucas doesn't know what to do. Do you want him to go distract the guy?
Yeah, Teddy just kind of leans over while the officer Shane kind of walks out, and it's like, just distract him for a little bit. I'm like, I just need to ask him a few questions.
Benny just gives you a thumbs up. Gotcha.
Yeah, and Lucas nods. He's like, yeah, and I'll ask him about that hand while I'm out there.
Yeah. Yeah, don't worry, I'll be fine. He's in a cage, so can't really get out.
Lucas nods, and he's just like, yeah, and you got Benny Brave here. Kind of gives you a smile,
That's
and he walks
accurate.
back, walks out, and as he's walking out, he goes, Shane, you said you had snacks? And as he kind of goes around the corner, gives you a wink.
Yeah. Yeah, Teddy goes over to the sheriff.
Yeah, sheriff has finished his water. His face is not red. He's breathing normally.
Yeah, holding the case files and yeah, Teddy's like, you feeling better?
Yes, yeah, I am. I'm feeling a lot better now.
Sorry, my colleague startled you. We heard some racket and we wanted to make sure everyone was all right.
And he's like, yeah, I'm not in quite the position to ask you what you're doing in the back of a police station, but my deputy says you're officers, so he's in charge. He kind of looks at you.
Yeah, Teddy's like, indeed, we are police officers. You know, and I'm like, alrighty, I have some questions about that program you watched.
And he says, which program?
The program you watched, the morning you murdered the librarian.
Yeah, and he kind of looks down and he says, I watched a program that morning, but he kind of looks at you like he's not going to say it the way you did. Because that's would implicate him very harshly.
Yeah.
So, and he says, yes, the healing hour.
What were... Teddy starts shuffling through the papers. What were the techniques the doctor was telling you about?
Oh, anger techniques. I get worked up. I have a bad heart. I've been taking pills for it. When I get angry, I have to breathe in and breathe out, count to 10, think of my favorite animal. You know, simple things.
So you're
Switch your
telling me
mind on.
you watched this program about controlling your anger, then you blacked out, walked all the way to the library in your pajamas, and stabbed an innocent worker in front of children.
When he looks at you, that lets you finish. He says, I didn't say those words.
I'm like, that doesn't sound right.
He shakes his head. He goes, it doesn't. I don't remember walking. I don't even remember standing in that library. I didn't see those kids. I didn't see any of that. Saw the aftermath.
I'm looking at my moves right now. I'm sorry.
No worries. Then you're also there too, if you want to do anything too.
Is he telling the truth?
Yes.
Yeah, telling the truth as much as he knows to his ability.
Yes. Wait 1 second.
It's okay.
Is he telling the truth? Wait. No, he's not telling the truth.
Ooh.
I had to double check who this guy was. No, he's not telling the truth.
Okay. Teddy just kind of leans a little bit closer to the cell. And I'm like, we both know that's not true. No.
And he says, and he kind of looks at you like, what?
For Maddie's sake, was there a point I could tell whenever he was lying and what he was saying?
That whole story is a lie.
Oh
Ooh,
shit.
shit.